Hello everybody, Rick Malava here for simplymaya.com. One of the users, Vince DN, asked a question in the forums about how he could create this gear to drive the track of a tracked vehicle by booleaning out sections of the wheel using a cylinder. And when he tries to do the Boolean operation, it fails, and basically the entire wheel and all of the cutters disappear, which is what happens when a Boolean fails in Maya. Now, there's an extensive list of things that can cause Booleans to fail. I've posted quite a bit in the forums about Booleans and some of the things that cause them to fail. What I'm suspecting is happening here is you want to avoid, after you do a Boolean, to have polygons that are extremely thin and long. And I'm guessing that I can't see from his picture here, but I'm guessing these cylinders are just long polygons, and he's cutting very close to an edge here, so he's creating these long thin polygons and the operation fails. So what we're going to do is we're going to add some divisions along the length of the cutter as well as along the width of the wheel, and then we're going to try to use symmetry to our advantage. So we're going to cut this up into sections and then just work on 1/8 of it so that the cleanup we have to do afterwards is minimized. So let me go through the process of creating this. So here's what I ended up with the little sample that I created, so you can see the Booleans work. But I only worked on 1/8 of this. I cut the wheel in half this direction, and I cut it in quarters in this direction. So let me just start from scratch. I should have recorded this when I created this the first time, but we'll just hide this and start all over from scratch. So let's just hit the H key there to hide that. And so we started with a 20-sided cylinder. So create polygon cylinder. And then I'm going to take this and make it with no caps. And then we're going to, and you have to forgive me, I've had issues with Maya for several revisions now. So and this is the first I've been playing with Maya 2016, so I might hunt around for things a little bit. So there we go, spin it that way. So then we're going to create the profile of this wheel. Let's see what the easiest way to do this would be. Okay, let me do this. We'll grab this polygon here. And that, this one, and this one. And then we'll just do an extrude. I'll pull this out this way, and we'll do that. Hit G to do that again. We'll pull it out like this, and do that. G to do it again. Do this. Do that. And then one more time. This time we'll just pull it out like this. G in, pull it up like that. And so that's kind of the shape that he started with. And there's 20 sides here. The only thing is, I think I'll make this a little bit bigger and stretch it out in that direction a little bit. Okay. So there we go. This top section is a little bit too thick, so we'll take this face and we'll bring that back in a little bit. Okay, so we got sort of the basic structure that the user started out with here. So now what I'll do is, looking this direction, I'm going to pick this edge, and I'm going to go to Insert Edge Loop Tool, and I'm going to add 3 edges in here. So we get one in the middle. So we're breaking this up. You kind of want to make these polygons even squares. This is okay though. It's close enough. And what we want to avoid is when we make our cut to have an edge getting too close to one of these edges, so that we get, if I didn't have these divisions here, you'd have this really long thin polygon, and Booleans just don't like that. So when it's trying to do the math, it gets floating point errors if the pieces get too small, is basically what's happening. So there's our base wheel. So let's create a polygon cylinder again, which it's created at the center. So if I turn wireframe, you can see it there. Let's make it rotate it around this way, 90. We'll pull it up here. Let's turn this back on again. Stretch it out a little bit so it's a cutter. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add some edges in here. Insert edge loop tool again. This time we're just going to put them in manually. I'm just going to eyeball them here for now, get them close, 2 and 3. And then since this is a nice cylinder, I can just grab the whole edge, right? And I can say, hit the move tool, and now holding down the C key for curve snap and using the middle mouse button, I just tug over this and, whoops, let's tug on the Z handle first to restrict it to just the Z axis, and then holding the middle mouse button and C, just sort of gesture over that line and it'll snap it so that they're lined up. Same thing, tug it that way and line it up, tug it this way and line it up. So basically I'm tugging on I'm activating the X axis handle, or the Z axis handle, excuse me, and then I'm holding the C button down and middle mouse gesturing over that edge right there, and it snaps them so they're lined up. All right. So the other thing that I'm looking at here when I'm going to do this cut is I'm looking at this edge that's going to be going along this length. So what I want to do for this whole piece is bring it down so that I'm kind of sitting on that edge, right? And we're also ending up right at this point right here. So I'm going to make this cutter a little bit bigger. Right, so that I actually cut through. So I cut through this edge and it's not sitting like right on that point, and I've clearly got some edges that are going to come through here. In fact, if I wanted to, I could sort of try to line those edges up with that cut right there. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick this object and I'm going to hit the W key and then the insert button, and I'm going to go to wireframe, and I'm going to bring my grid back, and I'm going to hit the insert key. There we go. Oh, they changed the way that looks when you go to insert mode. Anyway, I'm going to hit the insert key and I'm going to move the pivot down to the origin. So I'm going to hold the X key down, then middle mouse gesture over the origin to move its pivot point down there. And I'm going to hit the insert key again. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create some copies of this. So I'm going to hold Shift and duplicate to copy it, hit the E key, and I'm going to rotate it 36 degrees. And that's basically 90 divided by 3, I think it was the what I came up with to line those up. Let me turn the shading back on. It makes it easier to see what's happening here. So basically this is 90 degrees going from here to here, and I'm going to want to split it it's 90 to, it's actually 2.5, 90, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 90 divided by 5 times 2, I think is what that's coming out to. A little of my brain isn't working, it's early in the morning. But I'm going to hold Shift D again, and it'll do that operation. Every time I hit Shift D now, it creates a copy. Okay? So, and you can see that these edges are lining up, so it's 36 degrees between each segment here. So that's what 360 divided, that's the other way to do it, is take 360 divided by 10. There's 10 cutters, which is 36 degrees. Okay. So now I want to cut this out. Now what I could do right now to make life easier, I could split this up right now, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to show you how to do the initial cut. So we got all those guys lined up. So the first thing is we want to make these cylinders a cutter. So I'm going to select all the cylinders, and I'm going to combine them into a single piece. So I'm going to hold the Shift key down and go to combine. So now they're one part. And I'm going to delete history. I'm going to grab the wheel and the cutters, and I'm going to delete my history. Modify or edit, delete by type history. Okay, so there's no more history in my input here. I got to reset this screen up. I don't like when it pops that up on the right hand side. But anyway, so now I've got my cutter and I've got the target that we're cutting. So if I select the target and the cutter and I hold Shift and go down to Boolean difference, there you see we get the Boolean. So there you go. So now if you weren't gonna smooth this, if your intention was not to subdivide this, you could go right from here. So you're basically done. But if you want to subdivide this, you're going to need to do some work on this part to clean this Boolean operation up. We've got some n-gons in here and some things that are going to cause us some problems if we tried to smooth this. So this is where I say use symmetry to your advantage. What we can do is using the cut tool, the multi-cut tool here, let's make a split between here and here. Whoop, here and here. Why is it not doing that? Let me get this grid out of the way. It's bugging me. Go away, grid. Why is the multi-cut tool not working? That's weird. Hold on. Let me see what's going on here. All right. Multi-cut here. Okay, there we go. No idea what was going on there. So then we'll cut it across from here to here. Okay, and then we don't need to do any cuts on the other side. So what we're going to do is let's go from the say the right side here, and we'll select this whole back half of the wheel and get rid of it. Go to the front view, and we can get rid of this half, and we can get rid of this half. All right, so we're just working with this tiny piece of the wheel now, which makes cleanup a lot easier. So some things that you'll notice: we've got an n-gon here, we've got some n-gons in here, and we've got some n-gons over here. So now there's this issue of cleanup. So what we can do is, I'm thinking about this right now, and although we got those edges close, we didn't get them right on. You see I've got this little thin polygon here. Fortunately, it still did the Boolean. If these get too close together, it wouldn't have done the Boolean properly, but I can actually fix this just by getting rid of these edges. They're close enough where it doesn't matter. Just do delete edge. Do the same thing on all these other ones like that. So I'll grab this one, delete edge. So now it's just a matter of going through and cleaning this 1/8 of the wheel up, and delete that edge, and then do the cut tool and go from this here to here. And oops, what did I just do? Okay. I've got my middle mouse button set up where if I toggle it, it's control and it's doing evil, mean things to me in Maya. So it's making the whole model zoom out. So there we go. So those are quads now. From here to here. Those are quads. Go from here to here. To here. Those are quads. And then we're going to have to go from here. Whoops. See, don't do that. Delete. Oops. Control Z. Q to get out of that. We got to get rid of this right here. Delete edge. Did I miss any other ones? Okay. And then back to the cut tool. And we'll go from here to here. To here to here. Okay, same thing. Here. Here. And fix this one up down here. Here to here. 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 Okay, so that fixed those up. Now we can come in here and fix these up. We'll go from here to here, go from here to here to here. And then we've got this n-gon here. And we got to think about this because we don't want to cut it radially. It's going to make it no longer circular. So we can go, though, from here to here to here. There we go. And that makes these all quads. Okay, so that's how we'll do that. Do the same thing over here. We'll go from here to here to here. And we'll go from here to here. Okay, so now I should have, with the exception of this big n-gon in the middle, which I'm not going to worry about, I'll leave that as an exercise, we should have all quads with the exception of these ones we have to fix here. So here to here, here to here. Okay, I kind of did that crappy, didn't I? Let's from here to here, from here to here. Okay. Of course, you'll take more time to line this up than I'm rushing through here to do. So from here to here to here, from here. Here. Okay. Is that everybody? Okay, that's everybody. So basically, this whole top section now is quads. Okay. So now what I can do is come here, and then I'm going to delete history again because I've got all the history built up from all these cuts. So let's delete history. Well, you know, yeah, we'll do that. Delete history, edit, delete by type, history, boom. And now I made these cuts really fast so you can see they're kind of sloppy. So we can fix these up by, let's say, going to vertex mode. And if I pick this vertex, that vertex, and that vertex, and then holding the W in the left, or the left mouse button, make sure that you're on keep spacing is unchecked. And so now if I grab these and pull them like that, and then middle mouse gesture holding the V key for vertex and middle mouse gesturing over that vertex, it'll snap all of these to be lined up with that vertex, right? And so, and you know, do the same thing for these guys here. Yeah, might as well. My middle mouse button is bound to control, so it's doing bad things. It's zooming. So do that, and then V key and middle mouse gesture over that one, and then these last two right here, this one and this one. Oops, Control C. This one and that one. And middle mouse gesture. Control Z. Got some weirdness going on here. Yep. Got an edge I didn't remove here yet. Delete edge, okay. So vertex, this one and this one. Boy, oh boy. What's going on here? Okay, so I've got some weirdness here. You see I picked what should be one vertex, and I've got some hidden vertexes here. So it didn't delete this segment of the line is what's happened. So do that and delete edge. And now I can still see, if I hold, if I pick vertices and I select here, I can see I've got some vertices that are kind of orphaned in the middle of this edge if I just hit delete. Oops, I don't want to get rid of this corner one here though. So now if I just hit D. In the world? Why is it not deleting that vertex? Alright, we'll just do it this way. We're going to have vertex, and we'll go to the merge vertex tool and we'll snap it up to there. Now just make sure that there's, what is going on? Okay, one vertex. One vertex. I just have some stacked vertices here for some reason. Okay, so there's one vertex there, one vertex. Two vertices here. Okay, one vertex there now, one vertex there. Okay. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. You have to be very careful. If you get edges that are really close to one another, you can't even see that you've got a polygon strip that's so thin that you can't even see it. So we just have to make sure that you don't have anything like that, and then clean it up. So now what I can do, finally, is come here, pick this piece, and go mirror it in the X direction. Control Z. Let's try the negative X direction. Was the X direction? What I do? The X direction. I picked negative X instead of X. Okay, and then mirror it again in the negative Y. Negative Y, and then finally mirror it again in the negative Z. And you have to be careful when you do these mirrors too. Sometimes if vertices are very close together, they'll merge up on you. So you have to make sure, but it doesn't look like that happens. So now you can see I've got all quad geometry, and we've done those Booleans. So there you go. I hope this this has been helpful. When you're done, always remember to delete your history. To clean it all up, and there you go. Now if you wanted to actually smooth this, you'd have to come in and add in even more geometry. You'd have to add in some edges to tighten up all of this. You want to avoid adding any edges that would be radial, because it'll make the wheel no longer round. But you'd have to add even more edges to hold this thing's shape. If you try to smooth it right now, it gets kind of mushy. But I'm already up to 20 minutes, so I'm not going to show how to do that right now in this video. But this does show how to do a Boolean, and shows that the Boolean does work. You just have to do some cleanup, and you have to be smart about the way you do your Boolean so that you minimize the amount of work you need to do afterwards to clean it up. So once again, thanks for listening, guys. I hope this has been helpful, and enjoy modeling with Maya.